and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Switch It Up Show. My name is Glenn, and I will be your host, and I, of course, am joined by my wonderful, magnificent, long-haired, somewhat bearded, yet still very gentlemanly, Mr. Seth Trav. How are you, sir?
Quarantine chic.
Ooh, is that the term? Is that the term?
That's what's up. Extra scraggly, all around the home trash is what it is.
Listen, you know, I sure hope that each and every one of you out there is doing your best, taking every single precaution to stay healthy. But let me assure you, when you hear Mr. Trav's review, his enthusiasm and his what's the word for his level of charm will certainly be contagious. All right, ladies. Now, let me let you know. We got a couple different games here to cover today. We have both. Mr. Trav, what do you got? What do you got on deck?
I've got Roundguard, and I have LA-MULANA 1 and 2. But before we go ahead and get into those games, let's let this music ride for just a short little while. Gucci, ladies and gentlemen. If you are interested or enamored with either or any of this music, I should say, that is featured in the podcast, please do yourself a favor and check out the show notes so you can get links to all those tracks directly. Gucci is awesome enough. Maybe even some gameplay of ours.
Oh, absolutely. That's where you can find the links to the gameplay, Twitter, anything relative that we talk about in the show, where we specifically call out like a link or just check it out. It's where you get all the awesome information. But speaking of awesome, let's talk about LA-MULANA 1 and 2. Now, this is a collection brought to us by our good friends at NIS America. And what's interesting about this is it's not really a type of game that they're normally known for. When you think NIS, Mr. Trav, what type of games do you think of?
I think of anything involving printies. I think of chibi-style character-driven RPGs.
Absolutely, my man. Like very much RPG centric, and that's certainly cool. They specialize in a niche, and they usually do it very well. But
my brand of BS, I'll tell you that much.
There it is. LA-MULANA 1 and 2, the collection, if you will, is actually like a side-scrolling 2D like action adventure platformer. Which is super cool because when I first saw this, I didn't even realize that they put it out. Basically, what we do is scour the eShop, look at the upcoming games, and then try our best to reach out to our partnerships that we have with different publishers and developers and see which ones we're lucky enough to be able to try out. And when I saw this, I didn't even realize it was NIS, who we work with very, very frequently. Very fortunate enough to work with them frequently.
Yes.
On the podcast. So I was like really kind of like taken aback and pleasantly surprised that this is a game that they were taking on, because it's cool to see something maybe not normally in their not realm of comfort, but just a little out of character for them. So that's cool. So let me go ahead and hit you with a little bit of the synopsis. Your destiny awaits in LA-MULANA. Take control of archaeologist Lemeze Kuzuki and navigate through puzzles, traps, and deadly guardians in order to claim the secret treasure of life. You'll need sharp wits, quick reflexes, and most importantly, all the courage you can muster. Will you succeed in unraveling the secrets of LA-MULANA, or will you fall victim to the dangers that surround you? This game is now available on the Nintendo eShop. It is only 2.4 gigs, a little bit smaller on the size right there, and it's $14.99. So that's an amazing price. You gotta be happy with that. And basically, like, I know we mentioned this in the last episode, but this is kind of like a Metroidvania style game. There's really not really so much RPG here. It's way more action adventure. But if you're looking at, like a side-scrolling type action game with platforming, that's very much what this is. And
Metroidvania.
That's it, my man. That's it. it's kind of like a little bit of that, but also has like a little Indiana Jones kind of like scheme like thrown on top of it, because you are in fact like trying to try to and get this treasure and discover these secrets in all these exotic
like
locations.
Big time Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, very much so. You got the safari outfit on and everything, but the graphics in this game are just like really like they hit the nostalgia levels. It definitely looks like something that you would have played on Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, back when you were a kid, or when we were children, that is.
Yeah, right.
I really like this game. Is it's not necessarily difficult, but it does require to have your wits about you while you're playing it. And some of the puzzles, they mention that you have to have quick reflexes, and they're not kidding. The puzzles are a little bit not tedious, but they require your full attention, and you'll want to make sure that you're playing this game with just a little bit of patience on the side. You're gonna have to be ready for encountering the enemies, and more so like the puzzles, because sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where you're kind of pressed against the clock a little bit, and you're gonna have to really kind of keep your wits about you. That way you can make sure that you don't die. But really, if you're into kind of like, a side-scrolling adventure game and you like going through and hunting for treasures, but really like the thing for me for this is the graphics. Like each location feels different. It's got that like hand like drawn like retro style to it, and it's just it's eye candy. It's very high on the eye candy.
Yeah.
And luckily the gameplay is there as well. It's just that it's got that retro like difficulty to it a little bit. It's not like punishing, but it's there, and you have to be ready for it. So you might fall in love with the graphics, but you might have a few fights based on the difficulty. But for $14.99, coming from NIS, a company that doesn't normally put out games quite like this, I definitely think it's worth your time. And what's cool about this is like anybody can play this. Sometimes we do an NIS game or a visual novel type game, and it is, it's a hard M, but
very mature.
This one, we're taking a step back. It is rated teen, but I don't really know why. It says violence, but I mean, you're fighting monsters and stuff like that. I feel like that's not the same. Like they're evil monsters. Like of course you have to beat them up. But all types of really cool settings in this game. Awesome enemies, great graphics, good music. Like this is something you should check out for $14.99. That's a steal. It's a LA-MULANA on the eShop right now.
What score did you give it?
Let's go ahead and give this one. Let's give this one a 4, my man. I did enjoy it.
Oh, there you go.
It's just like I do kind of like to sail through a little bit more.
Yeah.
I like it to be a little bit easier. But not that it's difficult. It's just it's more than I was bargaining for at the time.
Absolutely. Well, if you like a nice, easy time, then give yourself a chance on Roundguard. Excuse me. It is $19.99. You get 100 gold coins when you purchase it digitally, and it's available now. A bouncy dungeon crawler with pinball physics, lots of loot, and randomized castle full of oddballs. Castle Spring Bottom is under attack, and it's up to Roundguard to save the king and, more importantly, recover his gold. Fling your hero into the face of danger and bounce off hordes of dangerously cute monsters to reach the bottom of the dungeon. With only one life, you'll need to learn how to navigate hazards, make strategic choices, and master your hero's skills if you hope to defeat the final boss. But don't worry, the Roundguard always bounces back. Bouncy fun, intuitive pinball physics-based gameplay like no other dungeon crawler. Multiple classes. Play as the warrior, the rogue, or the wizard, each with their own unique skills, items, and cheeky sense of humor. Randomized dungeon each time you play. Levels are procedurally generated, and quest, events, and elite monsters are randomly placed. Permadeath with benefits. When you die, you'll have a chance to bring a special trinket with you on your next run. The more gold you grab, the better your chances to collect one of the most powerful trinkets. A cast of oddballs. Chat with the castle's colorful cast to pick up quests and learn why some rats want their king dead, what's irritating the local teenage skeleton today, or what the warrior will do if you can get to a bathroom quickly enough. Lots of loot. Over 100 items and trinkets, each with effects that present strategic choices and combo possibilities. Show off your skills, compete on the leaderboards, and try to master all challenging, rule-bending relics. It is one player. It's from Quantum Astrophysics Guild. And it is a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what. They tell you here that it's like this RPG-ish, rogue-like, pinball physics dungeon crawler. And it's a dungeon crawler, I guess, in a sense that each level is a new sort of map. In reality, it's very much akin to, say, Bubble Bobble, Puyo Puyo, and if you know a game like a Gems of War, or even, say, a Bejeweled, it's a lot along those lines, maybe, in its simplicity. You just aim and you shoot. But it's got a lot of little upgrades, things that you can get on your character's outfits, boosts, different weaponry, different super attacks, things like that. And there is an interesting little storyline along the way. The music is fine. It makes sense. It's a little like fun medieval times kind of vibe, which I dig. This game actually really, really hooked me because it is the perfect kind of game to just lose yourself and kind of forget about a lot of nonsense going on, which I think we all really need right now. Because all you do is just level up and you keep just aiming and bursting things, and you get little things and you get little tasks to achieve, and you can achieve them. Some of them are a little bit more difficult, which really adds to the replayability of it. And there are tons of achievements and unlockables that you can find and get, which again adds to that replayability. I had a real hard time putting it down. Each character is different, their playstyles are different, and that level of detail really makes games like this, which rely so heavily on that replayability, something that was really great. I thought the game, I can't say enough good about this game, in all honesty. I think it's a perfect little puzzle game. The $20 price tag, I do feel like that's a little bit much, just because of what it is. If it was 10 or maybe even 15, I would tell you absolutely get it. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, it could use maybe a few more characters, maybe a bit more of a valuable unlockable system. And those are really my only gripes. Maybe the soundtrack could be a little bit more varied as well. But because of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give Roundguard a 4.5 out of 5.
High praise, Mr. Trav. High praise kind of all around for both of our games here on the Switch.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day for Nintendo Switch.
That's good, my man. You know what? We can use a few good days here. So I'm happy to be able to do this show with you. Glad that we're both doing well, staying healthy. You know, things are complicated out there in the world right now. Things are a little unsure, not going so great. But you know what? One of the wonderful things is if life is kind of getting a little bit overwhelming, you can always jump over here to the Preach Network, listen to us, pick up your mood, and of course, switch it up.